Hello and welcome back. Today, we're diving into one of the most complex and dynamic systems in the entire human body, the female reproductive system. It is a truly incredible piece of biological architecture. So let's get our tour started and see exactly how it all works.
So have you ever really wondered how this whole intricate system is actually put together? Well, we're going to approach this like our own guided tour, starting with the structures on the outside and working our way in to the very core, checking out how each part works along the way. So, to make sense of it all, we can basically split the system into two main areas: the external genitalia, which are the parts on the outside, and the internal genitalia, which are, you guessed it, inside the body. Pretty straightforward, right? We're going to kick off our tour with the external structures first.
All right, first stop on our tour, the external anatomy. These are the parts you can see, and they have a super important job, protecting all the more delicate organs tucked away inside.
Now, all these external parts together have a name: the vulva. And it's not just one single thing, you know? It's actually a whole collection of interconnected structures that all work together. Everything from the labia to the clitoris and some really important glands. Let's zoom in on a couple of the key players here. Okay, this is pretty fascinating. Anatomically, the clitoris actually corresponds to the penis in males. It's made of erectile tissue and is packed with sensory nerve endings, which, as you can imagine, makes it absolutely central to sexual arousal. And right nearby, you've got these tiny but super important structures, the vestibular glands. You might also hear them called Bartholin's glands. Their job? Well, it's a really crucial one. They secrete a mucus-like fluid that provides lubrication. Okay, so we've covered the outside. Now our tour is going to take us inward. We're following the pathway that connects the exterior to the very core of the reproductive system. And our first stop inside is the vagina. It's what's called a fibromuscular tube. Sounds complicated, but it just means it's made of both fibrous tissue and muscle, and it creates that primary connection from the vulva all the way up to the uterus. And you know what? The wall of that tube is way more complex than you might think. It's actually got three distinct layers: the inner lining, the mucosa, a muscular middle layer called the muscularis, and a protective outer coat called the adventitia. It's this three-layer combo that gives the vagina its amazing flexibility and its strength. All right, as we travel to the very top of the vagina, we arrive at the cervix. You can think of it like the neck or maybe even the gateway to the uterus. And this gateway has an opening, the external os, which is the passageway that leads deeper inside into the cervical canal. So once we pass through that gateway, we've arrived at the main event, the uterus. This is the powerful, muscular core of the entire system, an incredible, hollow, pear-shaped organ built for a truly amazing purpose. So let's look at the uterus itself. It's got three main sections. You've got the dome-shaped top, that's the fundus. The big main part is just called the body. And then, at the bottom, there's that narrow cervix we just came through on our tour. And hey, sound familiar? Just like the vagina, the wall of the uterus is also made of three layers. From the outside in, you've got the perimetrium, then the thick and powerful myometrium, and then you get to the inner lining, the endometrium, which is honestly the most dynamic and, well, incredible layer of them all. Let's talk about that middle layer, the myometrium. I mean, this thing is the powerhouse. It is by far the thickest layer, just a massive wall of smooth muscle fibers. You can really think of it as the engine of the uterus, providing the unbelievable force needed during childbirth. But the most fascinating layer has got to be that inner lining, the endometrium. Seriously, this isn't just some static wallpaper. It's a living, breathing, dynamic tissue that literally rebuilds itself from scratch almost every single month. How wild is that?
So how does it pull that off? Well, the endometrium actually has two sublayers. You've got the functional layer on top. That's the part that gets all thick and ready each cycle, preparing this cozy environment for a potential pregnancy. If fertilization doesn't happen, well, that's the layer that gets shed during menstruation. But, and this is the brilliant part, underneath it, you have the basal layer. This part is permanent, it sticks around, and its whole job is to regenerate a brand new functional layer for the next month. It is this constant, incredible process of renewal.
Okay, coming off the top of the uterus, you have the uterine tubes. This is the highway an egg travels down after it's released from an ovary. And the ovaries, by the way, are these amazing little almond-shaped organs that not only make the eggs, but also pump out the key hormones that run this whole show. So step one, these little finger-like things called fimbriae on the infundibulum catch the egg. Then it heads into the ampulla, and this is usually where fertilization happens, right in this wide section. After that, it squeezes through the narrow isthmus, and finally it passes through the last little bit to enter the uterus itself. So we've seen all these amazing structures, but you might be wondering, how does all of this stay put? I mean, how does it not just move around? Well, that brings us to our final stop, the absolutely ingenious support network. Think of it like a system of anchors and slings holding everything perfectly in place.
So this support isn't just one thing. It's a whole coordinated team effort. You've got a bunch of strong ligaments, you can see them listed here, and they act like guide ropes, anchoring the uterus from all sides. And then, holding everything up from the bottom, you have these super important pelvic floor muscles.
And in that muscular foundation, the main player, the MVP really, is the levator ana muscle group. This group makes up most of the pelvic floor, and it works just like a muscular sling or a hammock, holding the uterus and all the other pelvic organs up from underneath.
So at the end of the day, it's not just one single thing holding the uterus in place. It's this whole integrated system, ligaments, muscles, and this connective tissue called fascia, all working together perfectly. It's truly a brilliant piece of biological engineering, creating something that's both incredibly strong and amazingly flexible. And just like that, our tour is over. We've seen a system that is, on one hand, built for profound stability. I mean, it's anchored and held so securely. But, on the other hand, it's capable of the most incredible changes you can imagine. So the final question is, what does this amazing duality teach us about just how elegant and ingenious biological design can really be?